Hi, I'm Ron Wexler with the Wexler Group, and today we're going to talk about what improvements and upgrades really bring value and which ones maybe we shouldn't do if we're going to sell your home. I think it's important to really consider if you're ready to sell your home and don't want to own it anymore and you want to maximize your bottom line, then when you think about what things you might do to upgrade the value of your home, you really want to look at them as things that only matter for the resale value, as opposed to if you're going to stay in the home for 5 or 10 years, and those are things you want for quality of life and for the value that they're going to bring to you personally before you sell the home 5 or 10 years from now. So of course, the most common upgrades that people are considering normally is the bathrooms, the kitchen, and then things like landscaping, other cosmetics, carpet, paint, and then you get to mechanicals. Do you have a 40-year-old furnace that's rusting in your basement? Do you have an old bulging water heater that might need to be replaced? So there's a lot of things that are important to consider. And then what about that roof? When I pull up, does it look like the roof shingles are about to finish deteriorating and like I could put my finger right through and touch the wood? Or does your roof look brand new and give the house a very updated or upgraded appearance? So I think those are all the things that we really consider, and then we could break it down to which ones actually add value and which ones you should just consider when you're going to enjoy them for yourself. So let's start with the big one, the kitchen, right? A lot of us lived with our old kitchen for 20, 30, 40 years. Now it's time to sell the house and we think, well, do I need to upgrade the kitchen to sell? The best time to do the kitchen was 5 or 10 years ago so you could have enjoyed it before we put it on the market and sell the home. Because consider this, most kitchen upgrades might add 15 to 20%, maybe 30% of the cost of that upgrade. So just to put it in simple round numbers, if you spent $50,000 upgrading your kitchen, it might add 15 to maybe 20,000 value at the most to the price we're going to sell your home for. So it's one thing if you got to enjoy that kitchen for 5 or 10 years, then you can, and I always tell people, if you spent $100,000 on a kitchen and you used it for 10 years and it added $30,000 in value, then it only cost you $70,000 to enjoy that kitchen. It was $7,000 a year. It was worth it. If you're going to do that when we put it on the market and you're going to spend $100,000 and we're only going to get you back $30,000 of that money, it's probably not a very smart investment. So unless the doors are falling off your kitchen cabinets or your bathtub looks terrible, there's a really good chance we're going to tell you just to kind of spruce that up by maybe painting that room. We just did one ourselves, like my partner and I just did a rehab, and originally we put it on the market with the original really nice but old oak cabinets, and we weren't getting the kind of offers we wanted. We took the house off the market, we painted the cabinets, put on new hardware, and it sold in 1 week. And it cost us less than $2,500 to paint those cabinets. So that as opposed to ripping them out and replacing them for $30,000. So I think little cosmetic things that really make a difference could be flooring, sometimes finishing floors or replacing carpeting. Paint definitely makes a big difference. I always tell people if you have a wooden front door, it costs almost nothing to paint that front door, and that is the first impression. In fact, if you picture the agent standing on the doorstep with their buyer behind them and they're fiddling with the lockbox trying to get the key so they can come in and show the house, that doorstep is really important because that's their first impression. They're standing there waiting for a few minutes either for someone to open the door and let them in or for the lockbox to get opened. So if that front door is kind of peeling paint and not looking good, literally that's their first impression of the home. And we all know that first impression, even if they never say it again out loud, that sticks with them through the whole entire showing. And I've had people that I've showed the perfect home, a house they fell madly in love with, that they should have just been over the top excited. And we walk out of the house and I say, what do you think of that one? And they're like, there was just something we didn't really like. And then we go deeper and we'll find out it's something very simple, that they had a bad first impression, that the doorstep had some dirt on it or, some pots for flowers, but they had, just dirt in them, no flowers. Or again, the front door was kind of beat up looking. So it's the little things like that we want to create a really good feeling in the buyer before they come and walk through the entire home. So now that you've decided to sell your home and you know there's some things you want to do, how do you find somebody you can trust? Someone who's going to do, you don't necessarily want the most high-end contractor in the world if you're not going to stay there and live there and enjoy it, but you also don't want somebody that's going to do a really bad job and actually detract from your home. So the first thing I would recommend is, like, as a team, we actually have a vendor list with all the best contractors that we work with on our own homes and with our family and with our clients. So they're all people, and especially since I've been in business over 40 years, they've been vetted really well after years and years of work. So whether it's us or if you have a family realtor or somebody you're going to deal with, start with that real estate agent and see who they know and who they trust, and ask them why they trust that person. You don't necessarily want one of their relatives unless that relative has been vetted really well, but you want someone they've done a lot with. I can give you an example. My carpet and flooring guy, literally, I sold his house over 30 years ago, and he's done at least 15 houses for me personally, and he's probably done 150 or 200 of my clients' homes. When I send him out, I know there's nothing to worry about, that he's going to give my clients a great price and do a great job. So I would start with your real estate agent, and then if they don't have anyone, then I would go to family and friends. I would go to neighbors. The neighbors on my block call me all the time. And they go, who did that concrete work on your house? Who put your roof on your house? They all know that I have great connections. And so, again, start with your real estate agent. Go to your neighbors, go to your family and friends. Obviously, if there's someone you've worked with in the past, then that's great. But don't chintz on it. You don't necessarily want, it's okay if they're a handyman, if they have a good crew and they do a great job. But if it's someone who's just, you're not real comfortable or uncertain about their work, go look at some of their work or ask for pictures of some of their work and really look at what they do. So just like you don't want the cheapest person to do the work, you probably don't want to use the cheapest materials either. So again, someone good will be able to find you a good deal. In fact, we just did one with my flooring guy where he called me and he said, that bathroom really needs to be done too. The floor in that bathroom is terrible. And I have some remnants, some leftover, really nice, high quality vinyl from another job, and I'll give your client a really good deal on it. So the right people, that's how they're going to take care of you and take care of, your house. And you let them know, look, we want it to look great when we sell it, and we're not too worried how it looks 10 years from now or 20 years from now. We want it to look great now. We want it to last, but we're not going to be living here, so we're not too worried once it's all said and done. So, one more thing when it comes to contractors, and even if it's someone I know and love and trust, I'm very uncomfortable paying them 100% up front. So have a good contract if you need to. Make sure that they have something left, kind of some meat left on the bone. Because the other issue we've run into with contractors, when they're halfway done with your job and they get another job and that one has, say there's more urgency to them on that other job and they disappear for a week or two. Well, if they've only collected enough money from you to cover the materials and they've done half the job, they're coming back because they'd like to get paid for their labor also. If they've collected 75 or 100% of what it's going to be for the total job, there's a chance that they're not going to be as motivated and not have the level of urgency that you might need. So it is important. I tell people don't give them all the money up front. I mean, if it's someone like my carpet guy, I don't mind. I never worry about him. But for the most part, you really don't want to give them all the money until the work is 100% completed. So what I always tell people is, when you live in a home, you live in it. You see it. You don't notice things the same way, when you're living with them every single day. So I really would suggest having someone like your local realtor come in, take a look at the home, make a list of the things that they would suggest would actually give you a good return on your money, and go through those items one at a time and see if it makes sense. And then deciding, is it work? A lot of those things maybe you can do yourself. A lot of times maybe it's, what we do is we do have a really good handyman service that has a strong crew. Sometimes he can come in and change a couple light fixtures, paint the front door, change a few, doorknobs and little things like that. And if it's somebody really good, maybe that's all you have to do. And if it's a bigger project, then honestly, I tell people, make a list of everything you're going to do, get the estimates and put it on some kind of a time frame so that everything is scheduled, every step is scheduled, so that you don't find yourself 3 months later still getting started. So do the things that will bring you the most money. Mostly it's cosmetics. Sometimes it is putting in a new kitchen, but rarely, to be honest. Often it's going to be carpeting, maybe retiling a room. Sometimes with a bathroom, if it's an old-fashioned bathtub, we've had really good luck with having a company come in and they spray the old bathtub instead of replacing it or ripping it out. So that has worked really well. So really have a good realtor that can go through all those things with you and help you figure out which things are really worth it and which things are not a good idea. So obviously, if you're in the Chicagoland area or Northwest Indiana, the Wexler Group would be thrilled to work with you, go through your home, figure those things out with you, and recommend our vendors that we have connections to. If you're not in the area, then again, get your favorite family realtor or get a recommendation from a neighbor. Or truthfully, you can call us and we will get you a team and an agent that work the same way we do here in Chicagoland. So, if you don't have somebody that you feel really strongly about, reach out to us anyways and let us help you and guide you to the right real estate agent to really get the process going and to get it done right. So smash the like button, like the kids say. Please sign on so that you find out whenever we have a new video so we can share with you. And please enjoy the videos that we're making for you. And if there's anything we can do for you, just reach out to the Wexler Group. It's thewexlergroup.com, or you can just email me direct, ron@thewexlergroup.com, or you can just call the phone number on our sign, 708-629-5151. That's our 7-day-a-week hotline. So just reach out any way we can possibly help you, and we really enjoy making this content and hope you do too.